Running the street, the Flintstone feed, these cats wanna sleep, lay 'em on the sheets. Steady kind of money you laying, that kind of shit, I'm laying it down with your lady laying under me. Not playing around, down my OPB, no PET. In the least, it's me. Skits up, kids so sane. Spit so dirty, man, this gon' stain. Everybody know the name, ain't a damn thing changed. All they wins with the weather, it's gon' rain, man. Damn, stepped in the booth and the dude got 10. Heard him so hot, so I went and got fans. Can't say like a deaf man, but no hands can't stop. And I'm coming straight from the go. Ice rain, call me, get a flow so cold.
Folks, it's WRFU up here, Urbana 104.5 FM, broadcasting live from an undisclosed location at the moment, a brand new studio. Have a special guest, and before I introduce him, to give you the legal disclaimer, as always, WRFU is an open forum for the band of Champaign. Community views expressed of those of the speakers and not intended to represent WRFU, UCRC, Urbana Social Forum, the airships of UPTV, UI Channel 7, or the University of Illinois. All the thoughts expressed are those of the speakers and no one else. We gotta say that, man. Sometimes I say some things.
I was like, yo, this is so bad. What's going on by here?
It usually throws everyone back just a little bit, We're gonna have a special conversation with a special guest. Can you tell them who you are, where you coming from?
Hey, man, it's ADD-2, straight from the south side of Chicago, man. I'm glad to be here. This is already starting out great, man.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
We appreciate you coming down here to share your thoughts and wisdom with us. Let folks know what exactly it is that you do, because people may not have heard you, may not have had their ears to the ground like they should have.
Yeah. Well, I'm an MC, man. I've been working as a... Anything else?
Yeah, we're good now.
Oh, okay, yeah. I've been working as an MC for a nice little minute. I've gotten into writing through a lot of my friends and just growing up in the neighborhood with something that we picked up on naturally. And at first, it seemed like it was just a hobby, but it grew to be something that I love to do and I made a career out of. So, you know, thankfully, I've been blessed to work with a couple brands like Nike, Sprite, and LRG. So, you know, I've been able to do a lot. So I've been pretty good, pretty blessed, and just keeping it moving forward.
Okay, how did you form those relationships with those different businesses? Was it just random chance? Was it, you know, you met the right people, got connected, you know, you were in a particular circumstance and situation? How do you get connected with folks like that?
I think it's a mixture of those things, but also I'm a bigger believer in that God puts those things in your way. Like, you know, you can be talented, you can have good luck, you know, we could call it whatever we want, but sometimes for me, I honestly feel like without God bringing those opportunities, they may not even happen. There's so many skilled people who probably are way better than I am, who should be a lot further than I am, who may not have even had half the opportunities that I have. So, you know, thankfully, I've been blessed enough to, you know, to receive these opportunities for whatever reason, because to me, honestly, can't really make sense out of it if I had to say so. It doesn't make sense to me. Mm-hmm. But, you know, whenever God gives you something good or gives you opportunities, you can't really second guess it. You just got to go with it and accept it and be thankful for it.
Yeah, I don't think there are too many ahead in the game right now that I've caught that are ahead of you. You know, actually, the reality is that the first time I heard you spit, how well do you know Brian, DJ Z?
Oh, yeah, man. I remember, DJ Z, man, from DJ Booth. Yeah, from DJ Booth. It's been years.
Yeah, big shout out to DJ Z.
Yeah, shout out to Z, man. Z has always been a good supporter of the music, and it's been, man, I want to say it's been about since 2007, 2008 since I known Z.
Yeah, so I heard you drop a freestyle for him on DJBooth.net, and that was the first time that I heard your music, and that's when I said, oh man, dude obviously has skills. He's someone I could see elevating himself over the course of years, and so that's how I actually got to hear your music first through him, because I had a good relationship in terms of business relationship with DJBooth.net, and them giving us music to play on the show, so that was how I got my ear to get to you.
Nice. Yeah, that was like a real house type beat, like it's a real upbeat song that we freestyle for. And my homie Slide A produced it. And when he first even sent me the beat, I was just like, man, this is crazy. This is something different. And then when we just went over it, he was like, yo, this is good. And sent it to Z, and Z told me he loved it too, so.
Yeah, I got pretty good ratings on there.
Yeah, wow, that goes back.
It's a minute, man. It's a minute. I'm trying to keep my ear to the ground.
Yeah.
And so what project are you currently working on for folks out there who may not be familiar with your work?
Right now, we just finished up a project called Save Our Souls. Okay. And it's sponsored by LRG. And
what is LRG? Because you keep saying, obviously, I see the scooter. What is it?
LRG. This the home team. You know,
Lifted Research Group right there.
Yeah, you know, they're a pretty good clothing brand, and I know they got places out in New York and Cali, and then a lot of these stores. So you know, they've been thankfully they've been, you know, seeing my vision for a little while, and what they see in me, they think they would like to have their brand attached to. So they like the fact that the things that I'm talking about, or how fearless I am about talking about certain issues relating to whether it's race or culture or just anything in general. Like, they like the honesty about it. And thankfully they jumped on board and helped expose it to a wider audience than what we were already kind of projecting to.
Okay. So the album is sponsored by LRG. You have it available for people to purchase, download. How can they get access to that?
Yeah, usually they just can go online and go to LRG's site, l-r-g.com, and you'll be able to find it. Just search ADD-2, Save Our Souls. And yeah, generally for the most part, man, like, I don't mind if people download it for free. I don't care if you know, if you would like to donate. Like, all of that is well and good. I just like people to listen to the music. That above anything is my payoff. And I'm pretty sure, like, I'm the type of person where if they hear the music, I would rather them to be fans and want to support off their own heart, as opposed to, you know, hey, buy this album, and then you buy it, and then you don't like it, and then you hate it, and then you don't want to support me ever again, and you jaded from listening to another artist, like so many people I've done like that too. Yeah. So, you know, I want people to listen to it all the way through. And then if you turn around and be like, you know what, hey, I'm sorry, I bootlegged your album, Ed. And I'll be like, hey, it's cool. I bootlegged other people's albums too. So it's all well and good.
Should we be putting that on the radar?
Hey, I'm sorry, okay? You want to get me? So be it.
And so you have that project, Save Our Souls, going on. Who did you collaborate with that project? Who have you been able to bless to work with on that?
Of course, my partners who go with me everywhere, man. Like J-Rail and Slade, they're like my core team of people who just, like, whatever happens. They always are there for me to take care of everything. But most notably, Ninth Wonder, you know, they just creating records with him is fun. He's like, I want to call him like the Black Yoda, man. Like he knows so much about music and how he can flip samples so quickly. It's like second nature to him. Wow. And but, you know, we worked with a couple of people, man. Mostly just, like, I'm not too big on working with other artists. Because it's almost like I feel like you got to bring something to the table that I'm not doing, and so mostly it's like singers. Okay. But, you know, as far as rappers go, not really.
Okay.
You know, I've never been a big fan of that.
So and so you with that project now, what other aspects are you completing videos for it, or what are you doing with that?
Yeah, we're now finishing up a video for Love Jones. Okay. One of the more like mellow, you know,
I would hope
songs. So. Yeah, man, yeah. I think a lot of the girls like that, and a lot of guys love it too. Surprisingly enough, like they'll tell me like, "Yeah, man, I be listening to it while I'm talking to my girl." I'm like, all right, thanks for the info, dog. I want to know what y'all do after that, but cool, you know. And but a lot of people like it, and we're about to drop this joint for Bring 'Em Out, and I want to say we're working for 2 more, maybe one for Modern Day Coons. Okay. As well as another song called Losing Me. Okay. So we're trying to just do as much as we can, man, because it's a visual industry nowadays. You know, the kids, that's how they listen to their music now.
YouTube everything.
YouTube everything. They said, like, why would I even download your song when I could have it on my phone and just YouTube it whenever I need it, you know?
Exactly. But you do have Modern Day Coons available for download right now on your website?
Yeah.
Available at www.add2music.com, www.add2music.com. Yeah. So what's the next event? Because I know some of the people in your core team are actually DJing at certain locations pretty regularly. Like,
yeah. Slot, he's always DJing. J-Rail, he's always DJing. You know, you got to check around Chicago because they're at every club, man. They going back and forth. I'm about to head to Vegas Wednesday. So
Wednesday.
Yeah.
What are you gonna be doing out there?
Man, I'll be doing a fundraiser with the Tuskegee Airmen. Like, they only have me and somebody else doing the entertainment. So we're gonna be holding down the whole night.
Oh wow.
So yeah, it's gonna be kind of tight. So we're trying to get it all together. But yeah, after that, just a couple days up in Chicago, like North Coast, and something else coming up too at Funky Buddha Lounge.
Okay, so it's doing festivals, closed spots, bars, locations.
Oh
stages.
Man, any places, and we're working on trying to wrap up, getting some more information together for these college tours. Like, we're trying to get it all lined up, so when fall hits, we want to be able to just be all around the place. Okay. So that's the goal.
Okay. So we get a little bit of background on his music. You kind of get a flavor for what he does, and so that some of the genre. You visit the website. I'm sure you get more. I'm gonna ask you some questions about the game. See what you think of. First off, is anyone you particularly admire or aspire to, or anyone who's an influence? Because I'm gonna give you someone who I think would influence at least one of your flows, but I just want to hear from you.
So you want to know what? Okay, I'll tell them first.
Okay.
All right. I'm a mixture. If I had to take one, take a couple. I believe I'm a mixture of like Lupe. I like Jay's charisma. I always like Nas's storytelling. I liked how Common had such a message. And every now and then you'll get a mix of Do or Die or Twister or something like that. That's where you get the twisting and the rapid fire flow. And those are my influences. I think if I had to, and Kanye, of course, just trying to make overall songs, but those are my influences. Those are people who I grew up listening to and I wanted to emulate and wanted to kind of incorporate these different aspects of their style. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just loved that about them and that feeling that they gave me from, you know, Lupe spitting different type of bars where you be like, God, how did you think of that? Or, you know, you'll listen to Jay where he'll say something so witty that it makes you laugh. And, you know, or Common will say something so deep that you'll be like, dang, man, that's real. You know, so I try to put all of that together and somehow, you know, weave it in my own way.
Okay. I'm not sure if it was Iron Mike but I felt like, I think it was on that track, I felt like you were emulating Jay-Z. In particular with the, what was it? He did a freestyle, DJ's, what was it from like the early '92? He did it with, who did Ebonics? Who's the
Big L.
Big L. With that particular flow he did in '92. It was maybe Bobby's.
Wasn't it Slim and Bobbito?
Bobbito and Stretch.
Bobbito and Stretch joint. Yeah.
I felt like that very much so emulated that on that particular track.
Wow, I would say there's probably other tracks where I probably did that a little bit more. Yeah, like, you know, because I remember
I hint that flavor coming out, because just from New York, that particular track or verse, you know, just resonated with me. So
yeah, man, there's a couple tracks where I did like kind of a 95, 96 style where it's a little faster pace with it, like
don't waste any bars, don't waste any flows, yeah.
Oh no, man, dude, sometimes as an MC, sometimes I mean it's good writing songs, but every now and then you just want to just write one rap where it's just like you just go through it. You don't have nothing else there's no song, there's no reason for the rhyme. You just want to show people like, hey, I'm dope, and this is why I'm dope. And just like, you guys can't touch me on this. Like, after I'm done with this, it's done. You know, like that. Every MC wants to do that. You know, it's good to have great songs, but every now and then, man, it's just that brings you back to the cypher. That brings you back to the street. It brings you back to how you started, the lunchroom tables. Yeah. You know, like that's why I got my whole little start at.
Back to the center and essence of the game. Speaking of which, gotta ask you some little harder questions, but it's a little superficial right there.
Sure.
Do you think it's possible for an album to be successful or for an artist to be successful without using the N or the B word prolifically?
I think they could. It's just you have to do it in a way where people, because a lot of things that I think people don't realize is that people don't necessarily know something is missing until you point it out. Like, if you write a song well enough, nobody's gonna turn around and say, oh man, he should have added some cuss words. Like, you don't listen to a Stevie Wonder song and say, man, they could have used a couple cuss words in there. Like, Stevie should have dropped the N-word right there. Like, you don't say that. You don't think about that because it's written so well that you don't think about it. And a lot of rap nowadays, you know, you're so trained to hear it that if you were to hear a song that didn't have it, your mind may say it, but then if it's done right, you don't really care. You'll be like, yo, this sounds good. Like, he's spitting on here, or he's, you know, talking about something real on here, or the song is just a good song, it's catchy, and you don't really think about it. But I think if you want to take it there, you have to, as an artist, commit and just say, like, all right, this is what it is. And if you're committed to it, if that's the words that you're against, be all the way against it. Be 100% about it. Yeah. And if you do cuss, and like I do, like, I don't make no apologies about it. It's like, every word is not going to be perfect. You know, I'm not a perfect person. Sometimes saying I'm going through a lot of stuff doesn't sum up the way it sounds if I said the other word. You know what I'm saying? Like, you feel it a little bit different in your heart than me censoring it a little bit more. Sometimes those words are necessary to really convey that point of how you feel. So, you know, it just depends on how people relate to it, though.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. My only issue is that I feel like the game right now, in terms of, I feel like rap is, I mean, it's commercial. There's no question about it from my advantage. I think it's very much so owned by a set group of individuals, and they want a certain perspective and image to be portrayed with every video that's produced. And part of it is like reappropriating black and brown culture and making sure that they subjugate people in the process. And part of that subjugation is to very subliminally constantly remind them that there's a certain depravity and lowliness that they must be okay with. And some of it has to do with language.
I think it's even beyond that. Like, you have to realize that within those same cultures and the people who are above those cultures is that there's a lot more profit in keeping people under. Yeah. Because they understand that, one, these businesses, like, let's take a look at a couple of them. The alcohol industry. If we put that in music, we know whatever it is, if we start to talk about Hennessy in the song, people are going to buy more Hennessy. We talk about more Ciroc in more songs, people won't buy more Ciroc. See, and we understand that those people who they're selling it to, their minds are more like susceptible to these messages. You know, talk about the cars. Like, yeah, you don't even have a house, but you'll spend your last trying to buy this car that you can't even keep a note on.
Get nice spinners with the glow in the dark, the bubbles in the
You'll spend your last, and you can't even have it in the hood. Like, everybody knows that. You can't have it for no more than about maybe a couple months.
Yeah, then the bills start stacking up.
At best. You know, bills or somebody else coming to get you and take it from you. So, you know, you got that. You have clothing. Like, there's so many different markets that benefit from stupidity. Like, they always say the cure is not in the medicine. I mean, the cure is not in the profit's not in the cure, it's in the medicine. Like, if you keep stringing people along, if you keep them going, if you keep them in that same place where they think they're balling, like so many people like, man, I'm stunting on somebody, and you realize how poor everybody really is. Yeah. That's the mind state. And if they know they can do that, why would they invest in anything else? There's too much money. This is like a little safety net for them. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, if we can get out of 50 states and all these hoods to be spending this money on all this liquor, we can keep these liquor stores open and we can keep shipping them out there. Why would they not? You know?
I see that from a capitalistic perspective, but I think that there's more money to be made in everyone's success. You know, when communities build and they build for a greater purpose, I think there's more beautiful things and more greater projects that can be accomplished. Obviously, it's the easiest thing in the world to keep cranking the machine. You know what I'm saying? There's the little monkey and ding, 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 and he popping out there. That's the easiest thing in the world to do, but I don't think as a society we benefit. And I think they know that, and they just don't care. They don't care. And I'm not trying to judge people like these liquor companies and say, oh, they're the worst people in the world, because we all make bad decisions and there's contradictions to every person. You know, even me, everyone else. It's like, but if you're going to be in a community where there's low-income people dealing with real issues, and then you open up another liquor store, you can't go anywhere in the South Bronx without there being like a funeral home, a liquor store, and then a church. Those are the three most common businesses you'll see, corporations occupying our various streets. And so I look at that from my perspective. I'm like, it's fine if they're going to make profit, but they have to contribute to the community in some fashion rather than just sucking and leeching.
But I think because I agree with those points. I think it's admirable, but I think at what point do we have to enforce that then? Yeah. You know, because otherwise they don't have a reason to do so. Like, unless we're putting the pressure on them, which people aren't, it's not going to happen. This is business as usual for them. So it would have to take the people to, one, realize how they're being, manipulated, how it's right there in front of their faces, and to actually feel mad enough to want to do something.
So how do you take situations like that and then craft a song off of it? I mean, is that where you draw your strength in terms of the writing or the storylines that you have behind them, or do you use primarily personal experiences, or what's the mechanism for you?
It's a mixture of both. Okay. Like, you got to have both, because if it's not something that touches you somewhere inside in some way, then you have no real connection to it, and you kind of talking and glazing over the subject, and you don't really, have any real connection to it. It doesn't sting the same way as if you're in the community every day and you see the effects of it, and you see how it's affecting the kids, or you see how it's affecting the adults, and and the community as itself, and how it's affecting future generations that have yet to even come across. Like, you know, when you see those different things, sometimes it's easier to draw off it when it's right there in front of your face. But I don't know, like when I write songs, I try to let the beat dictate it. But if there's something that's on my heart, then I try my best to find a beat that works and just go with it, because some messages need to be heard and nobody else is going to say it. You can sit back and wait all day for whoever the so-called leaders are to do right. You could be waiting all day for them to say the right things. You can be waiting for them to mobilize the people, and it's never going to happen. You'll be like, man, how come nobody else is getting mad? And one of my pastors always told me, he said, man, when you feel that strongly about something in your heart, or you feel like, man, why isn't nobody else doing something? He's like, that's God telling you, you need to do it. And then that's what I always say to myself. Like, if ain't nobody else saying it, if none of these MCs have the heart to say it, then I'm going to be the one to say it. I don't care if I lose any connections. It's like, man, what do I really have to lose? It's like, I came in here with nothing. So anything else I've got has been a plus. So if you mean to tell me that you're going to take everything away, it's like, what are you taking from me, dog? Yeah. What are you taking? You're going to send me back home? Yeah. It's like, dog, I've been there. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's like, go ahead, try it. Please do. But I'm telling you, you can't, as a person, if there's something that means something to you, then it's our duty to say something. Even if it doesn't last, if it doesn't stick on the wall, you got to say something.
So what issue right now has been the most pressing for you? What issue do you think, especially being from Chicago, I'm from the South Bronx, you know, what issue, you know, you had to identify one as being the sole problem, I mean, because there's a lot of them, right? Wow. The primary issue that you would like to tackle or address, what would that be?
I'm not sure if it's it's a problem, but the thing that I'm more so concerned about is the youth. Like, I'm concerned about kids. Yeah. You know, because I have a little cousin who I help to take care of. And we will go outside, we'll play, and I wonder sometimes, like this, sometimes we had to cut that short because people are acting a fool. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I think to myself, because there's a lot of times where I say, you know what, man, if I had to have kids, unless I'm far away from all this stuff, I'm not doing it. Because I don't have the heart to even have it as an option of saying, like, my child might die before me. That's not something so I'm really concerned about what we do to the youth. That's why we always try to do something to give back. Like, whenever anybody asks me, say, hey, would you like to come over and speak? Can we get you over here to talk to the kids? Like, I do it in a heartbeat. You know, because the kids need that. They're growing up in houses that not only it was one thing, was like, yo, their dad's not there. But then now they're like, their moms are not there. Or even if they are, they're not getting along at all in the way they're talking to each other. It's like the examples that they're being shown is not real men, real women. It's just a lot of recklessness that's going on. So I'm just really highly concerned for them. And so if there's some way or form or fashion I can become an example, or if I can do my job in any way so that my little cousins can come up in a lot better way than I did, that's my goal. That's my goal. Everything else, like all that stuff about selling records or getting the record deal, like all that stuff is okay at best. But if I don't do anything to help them, I ain't did nothing. Yeah, all that stuff is meaningless. It's
interesting. I have, like I said, a lot of family. You're Puerto Rican and you're from the South Bronx. You got like a lot of cousins and family. You know what I'm saying? Just, you know what I'm saying? Going to everybody, yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, but in terms of that circumstance, I think about them a lot of the images they have to consume. You know, from everything they see outside. You know, the random violence, and sometimes it's not just random other people. Sometimes it's police committing violence against them as well. Random searches, illegal searches, patting people down, holding people down. Sometimes shooting them without need, and having to consume that and internalize that on a day-to-day basis, and have this hopelessness about you. And we were having a conversation yesterday about how they're not hopeless, but it's like, for me, in their minds, I don't think it's not possible for them to be successful in their vision of the world 10 years down the line. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just not within the scope. What's possible is death. What's possible is having children, smoking at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That's very, very possible. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But in terms of being successful and having a trajectory to, you know, have a good life, it doesn't seem attainable for them.
The kids are adaptable. Like, kids are very, very resilient. They're very adaptable to their circumstances. Like, they could be going through hell and don't even really know it.
Yeah.
You know? But I think they're also very practical. Like, our people are very practical in the sense of they understand the way the world works. They understand how the world sees them. Unfortunately, they need to understand that it's more than that. Like, you really have, if you want something in life, you can get it. But it depends on what you're exposed to. If all your examples are people who never made it, then it does play in your mind that you can't. And it's like, where will you get that inspiration from? You know, you can't just pull it up out of nowhere. Somebody has to say something to you. You got to be an auntie or a cousin or maybe some guy down the street who may say, hey, you got this, you got some potential. You're better than this. But if you're never hearing that, you can't just get it. You can't just watch TV or, you know, how the, you know, the people, some of the politicians say, oh, you know, it's America. Get the American dream. Just pull up your bootstraps. It's like, it's bigger than that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's what are you exposed to? What are you, you know, if you never see these things, if you're not properly educated in the beginning, and by the time you get older and then you're trying to play catch up, you're working against yourself. You know what I'm saying? So it's tough. But like I said, people are practical people. So they're not stupid.
Yeah.
They understand what they can and cannot do. It's just we have to show them that there's more possible. And that we, as a community, the people who are in it, we can't just leave it. In some way, form, or fashion, we have to do what we can do to build it up. Because, you know, other people, that's what they're doing in their communities. That's why you see the suburbs are nice. They got all these different businesses, and they're keeping the money in the circle. Like, we turn around and we don't support our own businesses. You know, if we do, they run down. There's no pride in it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, we got to do better, and we have to take more pride in it. And we can't just, you know, not litter when we're in the suburbs, and then we come back to the hood and we just tossing everything everywhere. Nah, like, take more pride in that too. You know, you see somebody getting still out, and they're like, yo, dog, don't do that over here. You know, even if it is a mom and pop shop or a little corner store, like, take pride in that. Yeah. You know, we can do so much better, but it's of course it's wishful thinking.
Well, I hope it's not wishful thinking. I mean, a lot of people do fall victim to what we would call the American scheme in terms of plantationnomics and being victim of the almighty dollar, you know, being worked for it rather than, you know, working hard for it, and just not ever seeing a fruit of their labor and not seeing those images of positive examples. And that's why I say you always have to go back and say thank you to the teachers, family members, friends, you know, all the people you come across, and, you know, appreciate their support and elevation of you to higher levels. Projecting yourself down now, 5 to 10 years down the line. You're in the game right now, being pretty successful now. 5 or 10 years down the line, you are doing...
It's a weird question because, like, I don't know why. 10 years from now, I would hope that everything is okay. I don't know why. For some odd reason, I have a hard time always seeing ahead. Mm-hmm. You know? I don't know why. It sounds
okay,
dark.
What does that mean? What does that mean? I know where you're going with it. I know it
sounds dark, man, and I know it does, but it's just like I really have a hard time seeing ahead. Like, I don't know, I talk about it too much with my family. I was like, man, y'all better be all right, man. Like, I ain't gonna be here forever type stuff. But, you know, 10 years from now, it's like, I'm 26. I don't know why, but I've never really seen myself getting old. So even 36 is like, what does that even look like? You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know why, but I would hope, God willing, if everything goes right. You know what I'm saying? I have kids, maybe 2. And if I got kids, man, I'll be happy. I always say if I had kids, man, I'd quit rap. I always say, like, you know, I don't want to be that rap dad. I don't want to be, you know, like rap dad seems corny. You know what I mean? Like, hey, this my dad raps, and, you know, he comes up, he pops up, he's got to go on tour.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to do that. I hopefully, if I could go back to, you know, what I wanted to do, I'll go be a preschool teacher or 3rd grade teacher, one of those crazy teachers that you never forget. You know, I want to be that guy. I want to be like, hey, man, Mr. Daniels. I want to be, especially because, like, I'm like 5'5" on a good day. You know what I'm saying? I want to be the type of teacher where I'm still above the height of the kids, so they can still respect me. The one tall man. Kid.
You need to leave my class, man. You're getting nervous.
Exactly. You get the one tall kid, but he knows he can't touch you. Yeah. You know what I mean? And deal with that. Like, I can see myself at 36. I could do that. Okay. I can do that. I'll be happy with that.
Okay. If you had any thoughts or words you want to share with some scholars, either the MCs or general scholars out there from Chicago or other areas who are considering being in the field or just looking for direction in terms of how to progress in the industry, whatever you want, advice you want to give in life, whatever it may be, what would you say to them?
I'd say of course, be yourself, but be willing to do all the work. Because unfortunately, it's a different day and age. It's not how it was back then where you could rely on other people to do it. You got to be able to handle every aspect of it without, worrying about somebody else messing it up for you. You got to be like, okay, I will be my manager, I will be my publicist, I will be my, PR person, I will be my booking agent, I will be just take on all facets of the job. Because if you wait around for somebody else to give you anything, dog, you be waiting for a long time.
It's not gonna come anytime soon.
It's not gonna come anytime soon. So if you can, and if it's something that you take serious, and if it's something that you want to do in your life, then you have to do it. That's your responsibility, not nobody else's. Because if you look around 10 years later, you be like, man, I wish this person would have did this for me, or that person should have did that. Man, it's not anybody's fault because it is your life. If somebody's not doing it, then find somebody else who will. It's that simple. So if there's anything I could leave to them is, be self-sufficient. There's nothing wrong with a little help, but also be self-sufficient. Take your job serious and have some pride about your craft and give it all you got. That's it.
Excellent advice here. We'd like to thank ADD-2 for coming down. For folks that don't know, he's going to be contributing to an album which we're going to be putting out probably at the end of August, early September, depending on how scheduling, classes, examinations go. That's an album we're calling Ill Poet Society. He's going to be contributing. Also going to be putting up the video footage of a live performance he did up on the quad. People out there definitely appreciated your performance. And I'm saying I've come across a lot of scholars and MCs. You know how many people I've this is now going to start my 8th year in August, being on the radio, and probably 7th or 6.5 year being on TV. Yeah. A lot of artists, I say that there are 3 or 4 that I've come across who I felt that were extremely talented and had the possibility for a trajectory that was high. And I think that you're one of those people.
I appreciate that.
It's crazy because sometimes I come across talented people and I say, I see all this potential, and then it doesn't come into fruition. I know you're saying that other people out there who you think are more talented, but honestly, they think in terms of composition skills, lack of relying generic tactics, there's certain things that people do as MCs which are very, very generic and repetitive that can utilize in terms of production of music, and I don't see that within your production. And so I'd be very shocked if 5 or 10 years down from the line you are not successful, unless you got lazy. Unless you get lazy, bro.
I don't know. I always told myself, I was like, I don't want to have any way where people turn around and be like, look back on my catalog in any way and be like, man, dude was a clown. Like, I don't want that. And so I take a little bit too much pride in my work to ever let that happen. Cool. So if I go out, I want to go out on my terms. I want to be just as dope as I was. I want to be ill. I want to be the person that got everybody like, man, dude is dope. And he was dope. He's still dope, and you still play it. I want to be that guy. But whenever I stop, I'll stop. But I can't see me falling off bogus.
That's good.
Nothing on TMZ or nothing like that. Yeah, you ain't gonna see me caught up in some scandal or something.
Eating sandwiches and throwing them. I'm mad too.
Exactly. Especially I don't drink, I don't smoke, so it's gonna be so. You gotta catch me on something scandalous. It's gotta be something crazy. And I don't know what else it would be, but. I'd hate to even put it out there because then y'all gonna look at this video like 2 years from now. You're like, yeah, see,
juxtapose it to that.
Exactly. And it'd be like something scandalous. It'd be like prostitution or something.
Don't pull Eddie Murphy now.
I know, no Eddie Murphy, dog.
I love Eddie Murphy, though. I don't want to hear it, man.
Shout out to Eddie Murphy and
whatever he's doing. Hopefully,
friends.
So folks, we want to thank you for staying tuned and staying in attention with us. It's WRFU up here, Urbana 104.5 FM, broadcasting live from the show. If you ever want to give us feedback, you're never too good for criticism, you can email us at WRFU@theshow1045.com, WRFU@theshow1045.com. You can go to the website and see a lot of the video clips we have up, www.theshow1045.com, which is juxtaposed right there, the little logo we have right there, theshow1045.com. Say bendiciones to my grandmother, my mother back in New York and Florida. Send my love out to my family and friends, wherever they may be. And let you know, man, just putting out a lot of art and beautiful thoughts and music for people to consume, and hopefully you appreciate that. And if not, hit us back, man. Let us know what you think is wrong or not right, and we'll try to get better with every step and every episode that we produce. So thank you for staying tuned. Keep staying with us. Take us away, Cesarina.